You really want to get into the property market. However, you're currently paying $700 per week in rent and you don't know if that's going to impact your overall borrowing capacity. Well, guess what? It's not. Recently, I sat down with a young couple who both have really good jobs. So they're both earning around the $100,000 to $120,000 per year. They have no other debt except for a $5,000 credit card limit. And they've got a young daughter who attends a Catholic school. So therefore, there's a little bit of school fees. Because their income is actually quite strong, I believe that there was definitely something that we could do here. In this case, even though these clients were actually paying $700 per week in rent, they still had a little bit sitting there in savings. So we had about $85,000 sitting there in savings, and they were really hoping to get into the property market at around that $1 million mark. The issue that we had here, however, is these guys came in and they said to me, hey, Nicole, we really want to purchase a property for around $1 million. We've got some savings. We believe we've got good income. However, because we're paying $700 per week in rent, we're actually concerned that the bank wouldn't actually approve us. When you're paying $700 per week in rent, however, and you're wanting to actually enter the property market, then that is fine, because at the end of the day, we need to remember that that $700 per week in rent is actually going to cease the moment that you actually settle on your new property, because you're moving into your new property. So therefore, you are no longer renting. So the bank won't even consider that rent that you're actually paying at the moment. So in this case, what we ended up doing is we ended up using the first home buyers deposit scheme, which allowed them to actually move into a property which was worth around $960,000. And best of all, the bank completely excluded any rent, because again, the rent was going to be non-ongoing anyway. So if this sounds like you and you're not too sure where you sit today because you're currently in the rental market as opposed to purchasing property right now, but you really want to have a chat to see where your options sit, then click on the link below and book in an appointment and we can have a chat. If you like our content, feel free to subscribe.